Hi guys, thank you for joining me in another video. Today I want to talk about budget. So one of the game-changing aspects of being successful with wealth creation and ensuring you have enough money to cover your expenses and enough money to cover yourself for a rainy day and enough money to take care of your future. And you do that by having a budget. Being a YouTube and my favorite ones, the hand-filled budgets with ink, colors and emoji stickers and all the stationery, I love it, but I just don't have time for it myself. Budgets, tracking of goals, sharing in that journey. There is that other side of it, and that is the ignorance of not having a budget or some structure to how to deploy your money. No one will take care of your money except for you, and a budget provides discipline and structure and make sure you get paid first from every paycheck. The budget isn't there to be restrictive, and if you do feel like it is, then you're doing something wrong, or there are behaviors or habits that you need to think about. And secondly, if you don't have a budget, how can you track to improve it or realize where your money is spent? Now, as I have mentioned in other videos, we live and die by our budget. Not really, but mainly, yes. And we use a zero-based or envelope budget. And that essentially means that you're budgeting on current income and cash in your bank rather than forecast income. We aspire to have a fire-type ratio when it comes to saving and investing, and use the app YNAB to track it. However, in this video, I want to run through some of the structures of budgeting. Now, first things first, budgets can be the most simplest things you do, but putting one in place is often the hardest. So it's okay if you don't have one. Think of it this way, there's always a starting point. And the stats don't lie, people. So 50% of people say they have a budget, yet 75% of people live paycheck to paycheck. So what does that indicate? It basically means we want to have a budget, but we have problems with sticking with it. How do we make it easier to stick to it? One of the best ways is to de-risk it. So the two biggest risks are sticking to it and keeping it updated. So in this video, I want to cover two of the most popular ones. I also want to define ratios for those new to budgets, and then talk a little bit about more complex, complete budget systems. So the first and easy way to budget is by using a ratio system. And the easiest one to set up is to pay yourself first, say between 10% a month and working it up to 20% a month. And the moment you're paid, you swipe that percentage into a savings account ready to deploy into investing or cash reserves. It's very effective and prioritizes you. There is some flexibility to develop this further into the 50-30-20 rule. So 50% is used to cover your needs, housing, transport, bills, food, etc. What else? 30% to cover your wants, so that's clothes, going out, holidays, and 20% goes directly into your savings. This is a sensible ratio to start with, and then develop further with a more hands-on approach to budgeting, which is what I do. So as we discussed in prior videos, 20% is a good number to save and invest. However, to be truly financially free, the savings rate needs to be as aggressive as possible. And this is where a hands-on budget like envelope and zero-based can be useful. Let's talk a little bit about zero-based budgeting. So the envelope budget relies on physical cash being removed and put in the envelopes for the designated purpose. So one envelope is for rent, one for food, one for fuel, and so on. And for the majority of people, it's pretty hard to do where we live in an increasingly cashless society, and also when you don't want to give virus-infected cash over the counter and all of that jazz. We have a fancy name for it, and that's called the zero-based budget. So for all intents and purposes, it's exactly the same as the envelope system, as both systems put money you have to work. And it often has that tagline, give every dollar or every pound a job. So I was saying, the reason this method is so powerful is that it uses money that you have, and secondly, it's customizable, so there really is no excuse. As I mentioned, we use YNAB to do our zero-based budget, creating envelopes, which are called categories, and then we get into the minutiae of each item. So for instance, I would have a home category with budgets for mortgage, utilities, property tax, and all of that. We also have a date night budget, and then we also have a pizza budget, because we like doing these things and know that we can without worrying about how much we might spend on them. Then at a click of a button, we can see our savings rate, net worth, and age of our money. And when I say age of your money, I'm not talking about those vintage coin collectors. I'm talking about how long you can keep your money in your account. Using a tool like this has also had some great advantages when building emergency budgets. There are some other tips that I just want to run through quickly. The first one is planning for larger expenses. So we put away a little bit each month for holidays, down payment on a car, expenses that we want to make but not for some time yet. So putting a little away each month is a more fluid way to plan for them. Secondly, we use an app, and it doesn't have to be one app. Pick one that is frictionless to use so you can automate some of the data entry and reconciliations and build in a month-end process. The third thing is remember the NPV formula. I've got a video, one of my really earliest videos, which are super cringe on this topic alone. I'll try and link it down below if I'm not feeling too embarrassed. This NPV formula is super important as money saved and invested will work for you. So every pound or dollar that you spend, you're kind of paying away the ability for that pound or dollar to make money for you in the future. I suppose it kind of makes you think twice of what that pound or dollar might be worth in 10 years time, or 15 years or 20 years, or whatever your investment horizon is. That was all I wanted to say about budgets for now. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you guys have a budget? What do you do? What are your best bits? Tell me what your juicy little treats are in your budget down below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. But until next time, cheers guys, bye.